Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When you have a friend telling you, hey, Gigi, if you're gonna go in that neighborhood, you might get jumped. And you say, what do you know, Emil? I'm Gigi, I know it all. Guys, Emil is lying. Okay. And then Gigi goes to that neighborhood and gets jumped and gets beaten. And then what should those guys say about Gigi and Emil's interaction? Well, maybe Emil knew a thing or two about that neighborhood. Otherwise, you can say, well, let's continue to be in a different cuckoo land and ignore the evidence and say, well, we're just lucky. All right, go again and see what's going to happen. In this case, we have Russia. And Russia warned the world, NATO, United States, and said, guys, if you expand NATO towards our borders, you will bring military infrastructure over there, rockets, missiles, and that would destabilize the whole security balance that's in the region. That means we'll have to counter somehow, because once you get closer to me, the time of reaction that I have, if you happen to launch any missiles, becomes shorter. That's why you should keep things around me, so I don't get all scared and agitated and react in a certain way that we don't want. Because you wouldn't want me to place, let's say, missiles in Mexico or Cuba or Guatemala or, things like this. And, well, the United States said, nah, we're not going to do that. No, it's just, Ukraine. If Ukraine will join the NATO, it's just going to be over there, and it's fine. It's not going to be okay. If Finland or Sweden will join NATO, that's fine. It's not going to be anything. It's not against you, and nothing is against you. You just keep sleeping over there, and we're going to do things around, and then eventually in the middle of the night, we're going to strangle you. So now Finland seemed to do exactly what Russia said they will do, and that is Finland to allow for deployment of NATO nuclear weapons on its territory. The report says. Now you can say that, well, I had to go in that neighborhood and those guys jumped on me, jumped me because, it was a consequence of something else. Nevertheless, so you can point it to some other reason why you got jumped in that neighborhood. Therefore, Emil did not know what he was talking about. But Emil warned you that this is what's going to happen if you make that step. And it did, 100%. So imagine here, Finland, and when it was about Ukraine, when the Russians said, don't do this with Ukraine, you're going to destroy our balance in the area. Which we would destroy it if we would deploy weapons or troops near you, near your country. And say, no, it's the right of this. And now the same with Finland. They will have nuclear weapons in Finland. That's the report states as of now. But only the thought. Then you would say, yeah, Russia was right. These guys just want to come closer and come closer. And don't get me that argument that, you know what, actually, yeah, but Finland now becomes NATO member because of Russia invading Ukraine. Okay, all right, let's discuss that. But why did Russia invade Ukraine? Well, it was unprovoked. All right, if you want to be like that, then I think, well, it was 100% provoked. I mean, if you want to be illogical, we can be like that. Or we can say, okay, didn't the Russians said this is going to happen? Once it's going to be NATO, you're going to put weapons over there. Look what happens to Finland. Why is it necessary to put nuclear weapons in Finland? Well, it's our defensive mechanism. If they want, that's their right. Okay, if that's their right, then it's our right to plan ahead and react. No, you can't do that. No, we do not threaten anyone, NATO says. We are a defensive alliance. I refer you to Yugoslavia 1999, Libya, and see how defensive this alliance actually is. So, Finland's draft legislation on the country's accession to NATO, which is almost prepared, does not contain any restrictions on establishment of military bases and deployment of nuclear weapons on its territory. Local newspaper reported on Wednesday, citing sources. The legislation will allow the deployment of nuclear weapons of NATO countries. It's going to be only one country, don't put plural. It'll be one NATO country, which is United States, and establishment of alliances, military bases on the territory of Finland, putting no limits on NATO military presence in the country, according to the newspaper. The draft legislation is expected to be considered by the Finnish parliament in 2 weeks, newspaper says. The newspaper also noted, citing its sources in the Finnish government, that during negotiations with the bloc in July, Foreign Minister Pekka Haavisto and Defense Minister Antti Kaikkonen pledged to avoid any restrictions regarding the country's participation in military activity of the alliance in the national legislation. On May 18, 3 months after Russia launched its military operation in Ukraine, Finland and Sweden submitted their NATO membership applications, abandoning decades of neutrality, with 29 out of 30 NATO members having formally ratified the agreements on Finland and Sweden's accession. Both countries are now in talks with Turkey to alleviate, I'm assuming it's something else, concerns over their alleged support for organizations designated as terrorists by Ankara and sell them weapons and all that. Well, if there's no specific mention of not allowing, deploying nuclear weapons on your territory, it means it's always that door open, which is their right. It's their right to do whatever they want. The thing is, there is a principle of do not, diminish or threaten a country's safety or security by, arming yourself too much or something like that. I'm just paraphrasing, So you can't just boost your defensive systems that would look like actually it's just a threat towards me, because we're gonna create this, it's like I'm here and my neighbor, I see him over there in his room with his rifle with a scope towards me. And what am I supposed to do? Oh, it's okay, he's just looking at my teeth. Why? What? I think that's what he is with a rifle and his scope. You know what I mean? So if you do, then I'm just defending myself in case you attack, Emil. Okay, all right, let me take my bazooka. All right, in case you attack, I'm ready, okay? Now, you see how things escalate? And that's why you want to diminish that. You can say, well, you see what happened in Ukraine. What happened in Ukraine was exactly what the Russians said would happen if NATO will get the territory of Ukraine, which wanted to. Look what happened to Romania and Poland, the same thing. They placed over there defensive missile systems, they argued, to deter Iran. So in case Iran wants to shoot some missiles to, I don't know exactly who, then they are over there to shoot them down. I mean, you should be a retard to really believe that. But they expect that, and there's some people that I spoke with, and they really believe that. And even if I take Google Maps, and I show him, okay, here is Poland, my boy, here is Romania, and here is Iran. Can you make a little bit of whatever? Well, you can say, well, the rockets do not go straight, they go like this. Then why don't you put anything in, let's say, Greece? Why don't you put in Turkey, closer? Or maybe they are over there. If they're over there, why do you need them in Poland and Romania then? And why do you just don't put it in Germany? What, you want to put it at the border? Okay, then you go on the southern border. Italy must have it. In the Balkans you must put. Why don't you put it in other countries in the south, in the Mediterranean area? Those were right at the border. So yeah, that's just BS. So this fact, if it's ratified and it's approved and signed and all that, then I don't know. I think the Russians will just calm this down. I will not calm with Actually, that would not calm them down. They would actually create more problems if they will deploy something as they did in Cuba. The same, we're back into Khrushchev and Kennedy. You put your nuclear weapons in Turkey, okay, we're going to put them in Cuba. Oh, you can't do that. Well, you already have them in Turkey. Are you going to take them back? Yeah, in 6 months. So that was all about the Cuban Missile Crisis. You don't want to take it, Kennedy, from Turkey that had missiles, nuclear with warheads. No, we won't. What are you going to do about it? So that's from since then is the same issue. And then I said, okay, we're going to put them over there. But they didn't get to put them, but they showed them. Here, we're going to do this. It's not hiding. Put them right on top of the ships. You can see the tubes, you can see all that. And say, oh my God, these guys are building those things. The Russians did not bring any nuclear warhead or atomic warhead or a rocket in Cuba. Oh, we didn't have time. Didn't matter. They didn't. The other ones had it. And what happened? They took their shit from Turkey. So who won actually? So the same thing would happen again now? Is that where we're at? And why? Why are you 6,000 miles away doing that? But if they do the same thing, no, you can't do that. So, unless you think you're angel-like and the other person is Satan-like. And if you think like that, then we're in big trouble. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.